Celebrity Court of Public Opinion.
And I'm Al Reynolds, your host and judge.
Each show, there are 4 celebrity cases, 3 real attorneys, 1 verdict, guilty or not guilty. This is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion.
Hey, listers, what's going on? It's Monday, May 18th, and I just want to first start off by apologizing for last Thursday. Last Thursday, we had technical difficulties because there was a fire in my building, or at least there was a fire alarm. So I was out on the streets of D.C. waiting for them to let us back in so I could do the show, but they never let us back in until after 10 p.m. So I do apologize. But guess what? We got a surprise for you tonight. I'm not going to tell you right now, but I think you're all going to enjoy it. But tonight, here on Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, we have 4 cases, which appears to be 4 public messes, and 1 question hanging over every headline. When does celebrity chaos and mess stop just being entertaining and become legally too expensive to deal with? Well, because the man accused of stealing unleashed Beyoncé music didn't just get caught. He took a plea deal, which means this situation got very ugly very fast. Also tonight, 2 Miami cops are suing Matt Damon and Ben Affleck over the movie The Rip, because inspired by true events might sound cute until somebody says you just ruined my reputation on screen. And speaking of reputation, Lisa Vanderpump's Handyman, hey, he's demanding 6 figures after an alleged fall at the billionaire's house, and suddenly a luxury mansion turns into a legal liability. And last but not least, we talked about her before here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, Miss Tiffany Haddish. Yep, you know, the new cover of the Sports Illustrated magazine. That's her. Says her Georgia DUI case has been stuck in legal limbo so long that it's interfering with her life. And that raises a big question. When the system doesn't move, who actually pays for that? She's saying she's losing work and she can't travel internationally. All right, please remember, this is not a press conference. This is not spin. And this is definitely not mercy, because we here at Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, we don't care that much about the law. We care about how we feel. Don't forget, I'll bring the mess. The attorneys will bring the law. And jury, my A-listers, I want you to decide who's embarrassed themselves the most. I'm the judge, Al Reynolds, and tonight, I promise you, I picked some messy stories, and we're going to get to the bottom of this. But before we get to the foolishness, please do me a favor and hit that like button. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, don't forget to turn on your notifications. A lot of you are emailing me and DMing me saying that you're not getting your notifications. Please always look at my stories on the day of the show. You can always find a link to watch the show from the link. If you're having problems with the notifications, you can always look at my stories and also all my other social media at the Al Reynolds on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram. All right. And always, don't forget to jump down in these comments because we love you in the comments. If you're watching live, tell me where you're watching from and give me your first real instinct on these cases. Who's guilty and who's not guilty? And don't use your careful answers and don't be thinking about this legally. We're trying to get messy tonight because tonight we're going to test whether your opinion can actually survive the law and match what you learn after the show. And of course, I'm not in the courtroom alone. Joining me tonight, and this is a surprise, we have Sean Carter, Shatan Turner, and yes, that's him, Attorney Brian Ross, one of your favorite criminal defense attorneys from Miami, Florida. All right, guys, now you know what this is. Tonight, it's not just about the law. It's about ego, money, reputation, and making decisions they wish they could undo. Counselors, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Glad to be back, Your Honor.
Brian.
Absolutely.
It's very cold in this studio. It's very cold in this studio.
All right, counselor, it's good to have you because tonight I'm not just looking for legal analysis. I'm looking for the legal truth, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. And jury, all my A-listers, I want you watching closely because just because somebody sounds confident, Brian Ross, does not mean they're always correct, but we're going to get to the bottom of it. One more thing, everybody, before we get started, we've officially launched a brand new IG page for Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. I'm quite excited. We're close to 200. I need to make sure we get to 200 before Labor Day weekend. Please help me out. I need to get to 200 followers before Labor Day weekend. So go follow it, tag it, and share it. Because court may adjourn here, but public opinions never clock out. Don't forget the quick legal note here is allegations are not convictions, and everyone discussed tonight is presumed innocent in a court of law. But in this court, we don't really care, but I had to say that anyway. We're here to examine behaviors, optics, and exposure, and whether the public has already made up its mind, and what we decide is cool or not cool is decided right here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Court is now in session. All right, first up, don't y'all mess with the Beehive. Let's start with Beyonce. Because this is a type of crime people often laugh about until they realize how serious it is. Now, TMZ reports the man accused of stealing unreleased Beyonce music took a plea deal. This is how serious it is. And here's the part people keep missing. Unreleased music is not just music or not just written words. It's intellectual property. It's tour planning. It's business strategy. It's money. So let me ask the real question the audience is thinking. Did he steal music or did he try to steal Beyonce's entire rollout? Bailiff, take it away.
How do you plead the charge count 1, entering automobile, and count 2, criminal trespass? Thank you.
The man accused of stealing Beyoncé's unreleased music from a car has entered a guilty plea on 2 charges. Surveillance camera footage shown in court appears to show Kelvin Evans breaking into a Jeep Wagoneer just days before Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter tour began in Atlanta in July 2025, according to investigators. CNN affiliate WSB reported that the car was rented by some of Beyoncé's choreographers, who called 911 after learning that hard drives containing unreleased music, laptops, and other items had been stolen from their rental car. According to a court statement provided to CNN affiliate WXIA, Evans was sentenced to 2 years in prison and 3 years of probation. Prosecutors say the hard drives with the unreleased music were not recovered.
All right, so let's go to you, Attorney Carter. So they're saying that he was charged, he pleaded guilty. What does the plea deal? How do you take a plea deal after you've already said that you are pleading guilty? What is this about? Explain the case to us, please.
All right. So as you see here, this fool, by the way, goes by, his nickname is the King Thief of Atlanta. Okay, and that title has about as much credibility as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. He got a Timu crown. All right, that is not a thing. This fool stole the stuff out of the back of Beyonce's dancer's car. He didn't even know what he had. He thought he just had some iPods, some iPads, some computers. He took that stuff to his sister's house. That's how I found them, because they just turned on Find My iPhone and ended up going right to the house and find them. The funny thing is, he did have the music, but I don't know if he knew he had the music. But guess what? The music's encrypted. You don't think Cowboy Carter is just going to be out there on a thumb drive, right? He don't know 256-bit encryption. So he never was able to distribute the music, sell it. He couldn't look at it. He couldn't even listen to it. And now what he's going to jail for is stealing stuff out of the back of the car. By the way, something he's done a lot, because he was already on parole for that same violation. And so the reason he pled guilty is because they caught him. Not only do they have the surveillance video, which is a little dusty there, right? That looks like everybody in Atlanta. But they actually had the computers and stuff at his sister's house. And I don't know about you, I got a baby sister. She ain't going to jail for me. If I steal some stuff and give it to her, she's telling everybody.
Right.
And so they told on him. He didn't really have a choice. This is the best he could do. He was looking up to 5 years, and apparently Brian helped him out. And maybe Brian can talk it better than this, but 2 years is probably the best he could have done.
All right, let's go to you, Attorney Brian, since you have dealt with this type of stuff before. If that material had leaked and we're still talking are we still talking basic theft? Like if he was actually able to get the music, are we talking basic theft? Or could this have been escalated to distribution or conspiracy or even extortion exposure?
Wow. I got to tell you, Judge, I didn't see that coming. Let me think about it. Maybe a trafficking, right? If he had the ability to, everybody go back to the day when people sold fake, like knockoff compact discs, right?
Right.
You wanted the new Biggie album, but you didn't want to go to the Hit Factory to get it. You went down on 35th Avenue and saw Lil Ray Ray, right? And you got this CD for the Lolo. Same concept there. It's a felony in distribution. The record companies came after that. So in theory, Judge, that would have worked out. But here, Attorney Carter has it right. They never found the music. They never recovered it. He didn't snitch on himself. The ironic part about it is he went to jail. He couldn't afford to bond out, right? So he stayed in jail from last August. He got a sentence that was essentially the maximum because it was only 4 months short of what he could have gotten anyways. So he took the deal. He'll be out 4 months before he should have, and he'll be back on to stealing somebody else's stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to you. I'm gonna come back to you on this because the deal was all there was stolen computers. But I'm gonna come back to you on that. Keep that in mind. Let's go to you, Attorney Turner. Let's make this comfortable. If this was not Beyonce, does this case hit the same? And would it have been as aggressively pursued and handled, or would it have been just another desk issue where you have a repeat offender of stealing stuff back in the court system again, and he would have been handled much differently?
Well, if it wasn't Beyonce, we wouldn't be talking about it, right? And the Beehive wouldn't be buzzing and saying, free the music, free the music. In this, because it's a celebrity and it is the celebrity, if you ask a lot of people, we're all talking about it and we're all trying to figure out, was he treated fairly or was he not treated fairly? Beyonce's celebrity influences the potential impact of the music being distributed, but it really doesn't affect the underlying crime, which is, stealing intellectual property and stealing things from the car. So it should have been treated the same way, but potentially he may have been able to plead out earlier because they weren't trying to make an example out of him.
Got it. Okay, now this is why I want to go back to you, Attorney Ross. So he didn't know he was stealing music. So how could he be charged with intellectual property stuff?
He wasn't.
He didn't know what it was on the laptop. He never got access to it. So if you were his defense attorney, what would be your argument to get this man's sentence reduced more than what it already was?
I mean, I got to tell you, he wasn't charged with stealing intellectual property, to be clear, at least not from the record, right? But the problem he has, Judge, is that when he went to go break in, because he admitted he did it now, so it's not allegedly. When he went to go break into someone's car, he didn't look left and right for the cameras that were viewing him doing it. Okay. And then when he went up the street to go sell the bucket to Lil Ray Ray, he didn't look again. It was more cameras that had him. So they caught him buying, selling in, moving weight. Now, the argument I would make is he had no idea that he was stealing Beyonce's Cowboy Carter unreleased songs from that vehicle. He thought he was taking someone's neckties or towel set. So we can't just pin any failures on that to him. But I think at the end of the day, what got him was they had you on. I mean, look at the poor guy. They had you on camera breaking into the car, the Cherokee or whatever it was, and they had you on camera taking it back out of a red Hyundai. When they go do that, that's called being caught red-handed. Very difficult to overcome.
All right, with that in mind, let's go to the chat and see what they're talking about in here. SL Warrior says so he's out next year. Essa Stone said only Brian. Colette Davis, our real estate broker, says hi everyone. Fuzzy Bigelow 777 said the digital DNA in this case is overwhelming. Oh, I wonder what that means. Daniel Cameron saw he's going to need an at Brian. Couldn't be my brother. I'm turning him in for a lifetime Beyonce tickets.
Terrible.
JP Mill says that man just wanted a hit. SL Warrior said that's a Pookie mess. JP Mill says hit the like button, y'all. SL Warrior says Tiffany Haddish better call Attorney Ross. Fuzzy Bigelow said, Al, you look like a young Malcolm X in your IG photo. Yeah. JP Mill says Brian Trump Ross is back.
I'm back. I'm back. MAGA.
Mercy Stone says hello, attorneys. New York Marie says hello, attorneys. Danielle Cameron says, oh, our favorite attorneys. I know I love this group too, everybody. This is a fun group right here. Let's see if anybody. Good afternoon, Al. It's hot in the DMV tonight. Yes, Fuzzy Bigelow. It was 90-some degrees, guys, here. It was crazy. Dominic Starr, so good to see you and your emojis. Sandra McGee says, hey to all the legal beagles. Tony Gray says, hey, Al. Janae 12 sounds new to me. Hey, Shaitan. All right, good to see we got our favorites, Brian and Simone, I think, right? Yeah. Did I see them on here today? Yeah, Brian and Simone Adams are here. Hello, Brian and Simone are here from Miami. That's down there with Brian. All right. From a plea deal to a lawsuit where two cops are saying Hollywood turned them into villains and they want to be compensated. Yes, you heard me right. All right, we said from the plea deal. Now we're talking about Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Now, two Miami-Dade officers are suing, and they are pissed off, claiming the film The Rip used specific details that make them identifiable and paints them as unethical. How dare anyone think that two cops are unethical? And what they're really saying is, you don't say our names, but you told our story in a way that makes us look bad. And now we're in that very uncomfortable legal space where Hollywood says it's fiction and real people say that's definitely those two dirty cops. All right, let's go to you. Wait a minute, we do have a video. So Bailiff, take it away.
Two cops are suing this Netflix film for defamation.
Need any help tonight, Lieutenant? Nope. We didn't get a heads up about this.
Two Florida police officers have filed a lawsuit against Artist Equity. That's the production company behind the Netflix movie The Rip that stars Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. It's partly inspired by a real case from 2016 where police found $21 million inside a Florida home linked to a suspected marijuana trafficker. Although not named in the film, Sergeants Jason Smith and Jonathan Santana claim that the characters include some of their real-life details, which gives the impression they actually committed crimes portrayed in the movie, like murder, arson, and conspiring to steal seized drug money. The two officers in the Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office are asking for compensation as well as public retraction and correction. An attorney for Artist Equity said in a response in March that the film does not purport to tell the true story of the incident or portray real-life people, and that a disclaimer is in the credits.
All right, let's go to you, Attorney Carter, because let me tell you something. One thing Hollywood is going to do, they've been doing this for years. That's why it says based on a true story, meaning they have the ability to fabricate and add stuff, right? So let's not dance around this. How do you prove, if you're them, how do you prove that's me in court without basically telling the judge, yes, I see myself in that behavior and I don't like how it looks?
So they're going to say, no. Yes, that's a movie, but that's not how we do it at all. We're clean cut, and everybody knows that that's us. Now, here's where they have a problem with. They're saying defamation by implication. Defamation is saying something bad about somebody, right? If they come out and said, hey, these two officers are crooks, they stole the money, that's plain old defamation. They didn't do that. They basically saying, here, you're hitting at it. And so, for instance, let me give you an example. If I were to say that, say, hypothetically, an artist named, say, Barty C has cooties, okay, you might imply that I'm talking about, the BBL queen, right? And so they're saying, look, you made it close enough. And the real detail, the only detail they really can push here is the $21 million that was found in a bucket. And they're saying, hey, that's specific to our story. Everyone else didn't find 21 million. Now, let's be honest here. The truth is, I don't know this for sure, but I'm guessing that they didn't find $21 million in that bucket. They found about $28 million in that bucket, and they turned in 21, but that's beside the point.
Right.
All right. But they're saying, Ben Affleck said, hey, Ben, you basically said we stole all the money. We gave some of it back. All right, you just besmirching us here. And so they're really hanging their hat on two things. One, that the $21 million is such a specific number and such in a bucket. It's such a specific thing that everybody's going to know it's us, as if any of us knew this before they filed a lawsuit, right?
Bring it back on the main stage. Bring it back.
And two, they're saying that you should have hired us as consultants. That's what they're really mad about. They put that in their complaint. You were supposed to hire us as consultants. You hired some other cop. And their argument is that you didn't want us on the set because we would have told you that we didn't steal the whole 21 million. We only stole about 7, right? And I'm paraphrasing, but basically they're saying that, you guys knew you were doing us dirty and you trying to get away with it by just changing the names. But everybody's going to confuse us with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. We that handsome, and I don't think they are.
Got it. All right, let's go to you, Attorney Ross. Hollywood loves to say inspired by true events, but at what point does that turn into, and I'll ask this question again, you just took my life, you twisted it, and you put it on the screen without my permission. That's what they have to prove here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're in Miami, so you know this firsthand. You've worked in those Miami courts.
It's always Miami. It's always South Florida. Like, why isn't it never Saginaw, Michigan, or Hackensack, New Jersey. It's always South Florida where they find $21 million in a marijuana trafficker's apartment, right?
Right.
It's sensationalized. I never found, I can assure you that I never got that civil forfeiture case. I never got $21 million because if I did, I wouldn't be on this show. No disrespect to anybody. Right? Just put that out there. I think that these guys have a problem because they're going to be entitled to discovery. And in Florida, the rules of discovery are very liberal, right? Opposite of Donald Trump, liberal. So they can go ask a bunch of questions. They're not in California where it's made for the movie companies. They're going to be able to ask, how'd you come up? They'll probably get a deposition of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck on this. And as they get closer, the music company, the movie company will wind up settling. I don't think they'll get millions of dollars because I don't think the show is going to be that popular, but they'll get something.
Okay. Oh, so they'll get something kind of like to make.
I think they will. I mean, I wouldn't let go. I would keep going. I would depose the writer, the producers. I would get all the way back. It's not an insurance company. I might be able to get their notes. There's all type of stuff I would get and just keep going. You know?
All right, let's go to you, Attorney Turner. Be real with the audience. Are these cases actually hard to win, or do studios quietly settle these things, just like Brian is saying, to avoid bad press and discovery?
It depends on the evidence and how factually aligned the storyline is with the real account of the events. I mean, if you watch Law and Order, they have that disclaimer in the beginning, and everybody who's ever watched Law and Order is like, hey, I know what that case is.
Right.
In this case, though, I actually think that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon may have helped make this case because, they were so cute when they were kids. And they're handsome now. You know, we all kind of grew up with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. And, you know, until Ben, started to like the drink too much, everybody thought that they were the things. But anyway, I digress with my handsome man thing.
Chill.
But here's the thing. They're best friends. They have great chemistry. And when they go on talk shows, it's very authentic. In this case, they may have kept it too real because I watched the Today Show when they were discussing how they decided to make this movie. And what they said on the Today Show, from my recollection, is there was this case in South Florida and they found this money and this is what happened. So they have been pretty transparent about this, about an actual case. And so I don't know how much coverage the case got at the time, but these men might be able to play that reel from the Today Show and say Exhibit A, and they might have to write a check.
So, Sean Carter, is this real reputational harm, or do you think two cops have gotten with a savvy attorney and said, hey, Hollywood got money. Let's see what happens if we sue them and get some of that money. We might be able to, hit the lick.
Absolutely. I think that's totally it. And here's what I think officers you should be worried about. If you're watching now, you do know you likely stole some of that money. And when you open this up for discovery, Ryan said the rules are very liberal. Affleck's attorneys will probably come and try to figure out where the other $7 million is. All right. Y'all need to just walk away and be happy. All right. Here's the thing is they're saying that you defamed us because you're making us look like crooks. They're saying, hey, it's inspired by true stories, but we change the events. We change the names. We do that all the time. Right? Sometimes we change the ending. We change this here. Nobody thinks that you stole all the money. The fact that they gave back some of it means something. It'd be one thing if they, for instance, had said that they, had said what I think they said, which they took some of the money and then gave back the rest of it. These people, they're not making the story look like that. How do I say this? If you watch this movie, you shouldn't think that it's a real depiction because one, they're not that good looking. All right. And Shaitan not going to be screaming over these cops. We couldn't find pictures of them. That's how you know they're ugly. If there ain't no pictures of you on the internet, you ugly. That's a rule. All right. But two, none of us even knew about this case. I wasn't thinking, oh my God, that looks like so-and-so, except for Brian, but he's a criminal. I'm sorry, criminal defense.
It's all right. It's all right.
Same thing.
Brian, I do want to be honest though. Brian, I got to push back on you on this one. I don't know that Miami police, I lived in Miami. Brian obviously has lived there longer than me. I lived there for a number of years, almost 6 years. I've never met a clean cop down there. And I definitely would not want any legal beagles on y'all's level snooping around my precinct, analyzing any paperwork around my arrest records, especially around drugs. And because I don't remember if you remember that expose in the Miami Herald when they were talking about dirty cops back in 2009 or 10, and they showed the percentage of cops that would steal people's jewelry when they booked them, their money when they came and picked it up was always gone. I don't know that I would want any real law firm digging through my precinct's information, because I think it would expose the underbelly of what goes on in these high profile cases like this. I don't know if I agree with you on this one. I think that they don't want that noise. And they really would put those cops out to hang to dry, because it would expose, just like you remember when they exposed Jeffrey Epstein, how the police stations were protecting him because he was paying off everybody. In this case, between Matt Damon and what's his name?
Ben Affleck.
I wouldn't want that heat on I would not want that heat on my precinct or any of my detectives. Not at all. What say you?
I think that there's a validity to the position, right? I think that it's possible that this could go south on you real quick, right? Because in Florida, we have what's called reciprocal rules of discovery. So if you get something, you have to share with me. Well, I'm going to go bonkers. I'm going to pull your IA, which stands for
right.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull your internal affairs file. I'm going to pull anybody who sued you. I'm going to have some little intern who wants a job at UCLA Law School working 20 hours a day on your file.
Right.
So, the judge is right. This could backfire on. And at the end, what are they going to get? The movie is not Michael, right? So they make $600 billion in 15 seconds. They might get a $20 million profit from it. Who knows? And what are you going to get out of that? 1 or 2%? I don't know what are you claiming here, victory? But again, it does sound salacious, and it absolutely sounds like they stole it. I never like to agree with Miss Turner, but in this instance, if you on Oprah's couch saying, "Yeah, we took this off some dope boys in Miami," then we're gonna have to dig that up and dig into that a little further.
Right. And plus, think about it. If they think their reputation is harmed now, what film house is not going to make sure, what lawyer that represents any of them is not going to make sure that all of their trash is on Front Street?
What reputation? Your reputation is that you broke in someone's house and stole $21 million? That's the reputation you want to maintain? What reputation? What you talking about? Your street credit? Huh? Could you pull up to News Cafe and they know who you are? Come on, man. Stop it.
Hey, let's get to some of these comments right here. We see that Christine R is just losing her mind because her man's not here. But everybody she says, "Oh, well, I guess Al will have to look at my titties this week. He'll be back." Oh, we got a super chat. Wait a minute. Did I see that correctly? Caramel 1977 is back, everybody. We miss her. Thank you so much, Caramel 1977. Let me see. Okay, we put it on the screen right there. Thank you so much. Welcome back. We miss you. So glad you're back. Hope everything's well with you and your family. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see. Christine R said Brian voted for Trump. Oh, Brian, they're not going to let you live that down.
No, I didn't.
Daniel Cameron said just give them a lifetime supply of donuts and call it a day.
Right.
Y'all are so bad. Daniel Cameron says there's something wrong with Florida and its people. I think Florida needs to be its own country with that crazy orange man leading them to get out of here, to get out of our hair. And they always doing something crazy. I beat a shit said, did those cops just snitch on themselves?
Right.
They sound slow. I honestly think that they thought someone's like, hey, you should sue them for this. They thought it was a good idea, but I don't think they thought this through completely. I just don't think they thought this through completely because first thing first, film houses, production houses don't want to be thought of or be viewed as, liars or bad people, and then definitely not associated with those two megastars. So, all right. Be sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying the show tonight. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that share button. And as always, invite your friends over to watch the show. Also, don't forget to follow the Instagram page, Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. We're going to get it popping sooner or later. As always, jump down in that chat. We love talking to you and hearing what you're thinking about the cases, as well as how great our lawyers are doing tonight. All right. So let's move from movie lawsuits to a situation where one fall might cost somebody 6 figures. Yes, we're talking about Lisa Vanderpump's home. Now, TMZ reports that a handyman that works on the property, is seeking a 6-figure payout after an alleged fall at her home. And he's suing Lisa Vanderpump and Ken Todd, her ultra-wealthy husband, personally. And this is the kind of case where everything becomes evidence, every step, every surface, every repair, every assumption, because what looks like a simple accident for some can quickly turn into a legal argument about responsibility. Now, I did tell the lawyers in chamber that I've been to her house and I have seen it. It's absolutely as beautiful as it looks on television. But let's go to you really quickly, Attorney Carter. Explain to me this case and explain to me why, is this a money grab? I mean, did he really get hurt? Why is he asking for so much money? He's a handyman, not like he hasn't tripped over stuff before. Break this case down for us and let me know if there's any real legs to it.
Yeah, it's actually weird because you're right. You bring a handyman out, it's because you need something fixed in your house, right? He says, I went to this house and it wasn't perfectly maintained and therefore I fell down. It's like, fool, that's what you were there for. All right. But he says, no, I wasn't there to fix that. I was there to fix something else. They told me to go downstairs. They didn't tell me that the stairs were all wonky. I broke my ankle and now I need $190,000. Now, here's the thing that's interesting, though, is that he does have somewhat of a case. All right. What happens is for premises liability, there are sort of 4 things you need. All right. You need to have a dangerous condition, or 3 things. All right, that condition that caused your injury, he says that's the case, and that the homeowner had notice of it. They knew that there was something wrong with that step and didn't tell you. Now, that's going to be kind of hard to prove, right? But that's going to be the real question is, had Lisa or her husband fell down that step at some point? And they're going to say, no, we walk down that step every day and we're fine. All right, you just clumsy. And so there's going to be that question that comes up. The real thing is interesting. Someone just asked in the comments, why is this an issue? Why don't they just go take this over to the insurance?
Right.
It's weird because here's the thing about it is this. I just found this out, and Brian probably know this because he's rich too. When you get a really big house like the Vanderpumps or Brian's, you don't actually have to have your own homeowner's insurance because the HOA takes care of that for you. So they're saying, the Vanderpumps are saying, hey, talk to the HOA, right? They handle that. All my HOA does is yell at me because my yard is a little messy. All right, but their HOA actually takes care of everything, and they're like, hey, you know what? We deal with all that. I got this big old multi-million-dollar house. Look at this house. But somehow I'm not responsible for nothing around here. The HOA is going to take care of that. So y'all talk to the HOA, like talk to the hand, and bye bye.
Okay, let's go to you, Attorney Brian Ross. Only $190,000. Like, this is no money. What's the problem here? Like, how does that? How does a fall in a you said a broken ankle or a twisted ankle? How does that turn into a 6-figure payday?
$190,000 couldn't even get you in Chaton Turner's closet. Let me tell you, she got Mo Birkin bags and Oprah Winfrey. All right, so I don't know what he wasting his time. Lawyer, $190,000. Lawyer gonna take 40%. So he might, after medical bills, he's gonna get about $50,000. Here's the thing. Carter brought up a great point. If you want to sue somebody, people, you go to Dollar Tree to get your kids some little twisties before the first day of school, last day of school, and you slip and fall on some coffee. There's a theory of law called open and obvious. Open and obvious. If you're a handyman, it is very perceivable that the thing you are complaining about was open and obvious to you when you got there. So how are you going to prove that you, one, aren't supposed to be looking? You're there, like I said, you're there to fix things. How can you sue someone for something that's broken? They don't have a duty to fix everything in the house. I tell you what, We're gonna hire a handyman to fix everything that's broke in the house before you get there, and then have you come fix everything that wasn't repaired. It don't make sense, bro. Okay? You're mad, you bust your leg. The truth of the matter is, you should have had a workers' comp policy. A workers' comp policy would have covered the injuries. You didn't have one. So now you're fighting the HOA, and good luck with that. Good luck.
Especially, I can imagine that the Attorney Turner. I can imagine that HOA ain't no normal HOA when they are sitting there, you know, HOA and multi-million-dollar. Their portfolio in their HOA has got to be a couple of $1 billion worth of real estate, right?
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on this case? And do you think he's going to get it? Well, I just feel this is the part that I just have to say. I think he's stupid. I would have sued him for $5 million to land at 190 to just make me go away. That's what the hell I would have done. I don't know why anybody would just sue for a measly $190,000. That pisses lawyers off. Now you're calling them stupid, right? Without calling them stupid.
No, I actually disagree with that. Suing for what you like. He's a fair guy. That's how I view it.
Nobody's fair in Hollywood. No, ma'am. Objection. Nobody. If I am in a multi-million-dollar house, if I'm in a multi-million-dollar house of a and her husband is like almost close to a billionaire, I'm not $190,000. That's their jet fuel for the month of January. Get out of here with that.
Yeah, no. But he sued for it because he thought he'd get it. He's probably the one who's most surprised by this. Like, why are we here? Why didn't I just get the money?
Like Brian said, of the 190, you got to give 35. And I'm sure to sue the Vanderpumps, he's paying close to 40% to the lawyer. So he's only going to probably, after all that, he's going to get $60,000. He's never going to be able to work in Hollywood again. And they're probably going to research him and send him back to wherever he's from because he's probably not a U.S. citizen.
Oh, now we've like left the awful immigrant thing. Like
I'm just saying, my time in Hollywood, that's who are the handyman for.
Well, that's true. But I mean, having represented insurance companies for a decent period of time in my life, what I would say is that they are much more inclined to settle with people who make reasonable offers. And so this confuses me. If he was actually injured, it's not hard to try to identify what his actual medicals were and his compensatory damages. This seems like a perfectly reasonable thing for me. It took me a while to understand what we were talking about, though, because never in my entire life, and I'm this year's old when I heard HOA referred to as a HOA, I thought that there was some infidelity going on, and Attorney Carter was trying to smoke it out. He was like, HOA, HOA, HOA. I was like, where the hoe? But anyway,
you wanted to know where the hoe was.
I did.
Oh God, that's hilarious. All right, Gingerly 197071 said, "You're so right, Al. I would have sued for $20 million and said I had a broken ankle, broken arm, missing teeth, head injuries, and an injured eyeball." Oh God, Angelita Rios 895 says, "Hit that like button, everybody." Christine R said, "I think he sued for that amount, hoping that they would settle out of court and move on." What were they going to settle for? 100,000? I don't understand that. Daniel Cameron says, "Brian didn't say he voted for Trump. It's a joke. I started it because he always has a great defense. It's just a joking nickname, guys." Oh, that's so sweet. She's taking up for Brian. SL Warrior says, isn't he bonded and insured? Brian, you want to talk about that? The bonding and being insured? I would hope so, unless they're doing like everybody else and paying under the table. He should definitely be bonded and insured to even go in and work for that HOA in any of those houses in that HOA.
I mean, if you're going to come over there and, cut my grass and trim a tree, that's one thing. If you're coming there to do substantive work, I need to see your insurance. I need to see your bond. And if they now the Vanderpumps probably didn't. I doubt Mr. Vanderpump went and negotiated this with the brother in front of Home Depot, right? Like someone did for him. So he's got to vet that person and say, "Did you tell me you asked for credentials before you let this person in our house?" I mean, why? Because it is Hollywood, and you have people who will go in there and stage
intentionally, right,
just to get a couple dollars. So
it sounds to me that it might have been somebody that worked in her restaurants.
That's deep. That's deep.
You know, she has a couple of restaurants. I would think she's probably trusted the person to come to her house. Because, you know, I thought certain HOAs, especially of this caliber, would require for you to let them know when a contractor is coming to fix something. I know some HOAs work like that. This is interesting. I think she got into a little situation. It sounds like, to me, it sounds like something in the milk ain't clean here. I don't think that this would be a typical just fall or hurt them to fall down and hurt themselves situation. I feel like something else may have happened here, and they went to the law and the legal system to get some type of remedy that they weren't normally getting from those two. That's what it sounds like to me. What do you guys think, attorneys?
There was probably a demand, right? There was a demand sent to them that said, hey, you know, Pablo Escobar broke his leg on your stairwell,
right?
And you give him a check, right? And they did what all celebrities do. What is this? And they passed it off to their lawyer. And the lawyer goes, it's an HOA, it's a HOA problem, and he passed it off to the HOA. And when he didn't get his money, he went public with it to put pressure on them to settle.
Right, that's exactly what it feels like to
100%,
me.
100%.
All right, other attorneys, what do you guys think? Do you think he has a good case here? How strong is his case?
You know, I think he likely will get something. I can't believe it's gone on. You know, it even got that far. When you look at that one picture, look at that one picture of someone called her Vanderpump, and I think that's appropriate. At least she's a little plumpy in some areas, but she got more than $190,000 of silicone in the left one. So I know he wasn't. You know, he's thinking this is no money, that they just write him a check, and I can't believe they didn't.
I know, right? That's why I'm saying I feel like something else is going on here. Something else is going on here. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like, all right, let's get down to the comments to see. I Be the Shit says, sounds like the handyman thought he saw some suckers and is licking them. Okay. Generally, 197071 says, Daniel Cameron, thank goodness it was a joke. I was getting ready to be seriously concerned from Attorney Ross' mental health status. Easter C says she does have like 20 animals as well. Devon Varner 5979 says typically HOA would definitely interesting him. Okay. Let's see. Daniel Cameron said, y'all better leave Brian alone because soon as I start my life of crime, that's my attorney.
Yes.
Melina NC said, he said Vanderpump, come on. JB Mills says he's hoping and praying for that money. I don't know. I think he should have been a little bit more smarter about it. Okay. This is how it happens sometimes, right? All right. From mansion lawsuits to a situation where the biggest issue might be the system itself. This story right here is interesting to me. Yep. We're talking about Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish, welcome back to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. And congratulations on your Sports Illustrated cover. It was quite interesting seeing you on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Body was definitely bodying. But according to the Post, Tiffany says her Georgia DUI case has been sitting in legal limbo so long, it's now affecting her ability to travel internationally. And here's where people get confused because pending sounds harmless until it starts interfering with someone's real life, right? And so she's saying that she could make a whole lot more money if she could go overseas to some of the gigs that she wants to go to. All right, let's go to you, Attorney Ross. Tell me what's going on with Tiffany Haddish in this case, and why is it taking so long?
Well, she gets this DUI, right? And for some odd reason, I'm really surprised too. I got to tell you, I've probably litigated 100 plus DUIs, and that's conservative. I probably did 200 to tell you the truth. They don't move this slow. I don't know what. Usually they can't wait to put you in jail, right? I don't know what the holdup is. Now, her argument that, oh, well, it's messing me up from getting some opportunities, that might be true, but no one cares about that. I'm sorry. That doesn't matter. Who cares? What I want to know is, why is it taking so long? Like, why is it taking so long to process this DUI? My DUIs are processed in 6 months, 18 months. And 2, she has another problem. This ain't her first DUI. Remember,
right.
You had another one that they broke down to in California. They reduced her reckless driving. So I wouldn't be in a rush to get it over with, sister. One rule of criminal law. Y'all ready? Here it is. You want to put as much time as possible between yourself and the incident. The more time that goes, the better. Police officers forget things. They retire. They get transferred. They get caught with $21 million in cash in Miami. All type of things happen to them. So don't ever be in a rush to end it. Let your lawyer, as long as your lawyer says, we're good, just chill. Just chill. She's making the wrong move here. Chill out.
Okay, Attorney Carter, can you give us a little bit of backstory on this and what's really going on? What's really taking so long here?
No, I think Attorney Ross really, I didn't know this before, because I said the same thing. It was 52 months ago, right? In 2024, the thing is, she filed a motion to suppress some of the evidence. And I would bet that Attorney Ross would tell us that those 200 cases he did, almost none of them went to trial, right? Normally, you take a plea, you get your little suspension license, whatever it is, you got to go to your AA classes, and you're done. She's trying to fight this. I couldn't figure out why she was fighting it, because she has the other, I guess, problem. And so she's concerned about, images and legal concerns and all that. And so she's basically fighting this. And as a result, it's kind of, gummed up the works. I think we should be clear here that our court system isn't made for people to have trials. All right. We got license plates suppressed. We ain't got time for that. We need most people to plead. And most people do their job and plead, and she act a fool and trying to access her constitutional rights, gumming up the whole works.
Attorney Turner, what are your thoughts on this? I guess my question is, is the case sitting still? Does that mean that nothing is happening, or does it mean that there's something that we don't know about? Is there a reason why a DUI in Georgia would take, 3 years? We're talking more than 3 years. 4 years. What is that? How does that happen?
Well, one thing that we know is happening is she got snatched so she could get on the cover of Sports Illustrated. So it suggests to me, and props to Tiffany Haddish. I mean, you should look at that again. The fact that she was able to pull that off, rumor has it she lost 40 to 50 pounds. It sounds to me like she's trying to adopt more healthy living, because she appeared to have a bit of a problem. She liked the drink too much, as they would say. And so, as Attorney Carter indicated, initially, she was trying to probably stretch it out for the strategic reasons that Attorney Ross mentioned. But then it was, well, this is taking way too long now. Like, my strategy has been exhausted. Can't we at least wrap it up now? And she also may have some intel, right, Attorney Ross, that maybe some of the officers that were involved have retired. Maybe she has some confidence that they're not going to be around to testify. And so instead of dragging it out, now she wants to speed it up.
Okay, or maybe because she was on Sports Illustrated, she's getting more international appeal, and she's getting offers and all that type of stuff, and she can't take them because would they take her passport? Is her passport?
No, she can fly.
She's like Rob Davis now. She's like internationally known.
So what is her? Okay, so if she can fly, because that's what I was thinking. Right. Why she brought up international. Why is she not getting? How is this hampering her international gigs?
Here's why: because other countries might not let you in if you have pending criminal things. So, for instance, she had a deal in Australia, and they were like, "No, mate, right? You need to go back, up over and take your butt home." And she lost a lot of money because she couldn't go to Australia. They just wouldn't let her in.
Wow.
We've seen this.
You know how many criminal
celebrities. Remember, we talked about that point with Wiz Khalifa, and we talked about that point with Chris Brown and other celebrities.
Yeah, but they got caught over there. They got caught in the other country, not in the United States.
Well, no, but we talked about it with them traveling to other countries, right? Like they could elect to not go back to the country that they had been charged with to resolve the issue, but it could hamper their ability to go to other countries that would look to see if they had a clear record. That's the problem. Right. Some countries, unlike us, are like, keep your criminals and your poor and don't bring them here. And so that's what she's concerned about. She wants to go make that paper and show off that body. They have great beaches in Australia, and so
I feel like that's a weak. I feel like it's a weak argument. I think I don't like that argument. All right, let's get to the comments. Christine R says no. Tiffany Haddish slander will be tolerated. She says she is hot. Oh my God. Christine R says she's a great person who made some mistakes. How you know that, Christine R? I be the shit said poor Tiffany fell off so bad, still falling like Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys
She's still alive. What you talking about, girl? She's still alive.
Alicia Keys has definitely fallen off a little bit. Like, I don't know what's going on over there.
Happily married.
Rochelle Rogers says, hello, Al, attorneys and A-listers. Christine R says, she's not falling off. She's actually thriving. Colette Davis, our real estate broker, says, good advice, Brian. JP Mills says, Tiffany, girl, relax. SL Warrior says, backlog in Georgia. Let's see. Daniel Cameron says Tiffany has such a great trajectory career-wise, So we think that this is the teardown because they build her up so much. Wasn't she asleep behind the wheel? Yes, in the one in Los Angeles, that was definitely the case. Colette Davis says, I don't understand why celebrities would be risk driving under the influence when they have the money to pay someone to drive them because they cheap. I beat the shit says Tiffany lost 40 pounds while she never looked like she had that to lose. I didn't see that either, and I used to hang out with her quite a bit.
She need to be careful. Tiffany, let me tell you, girl, you need to be careful. All right, you see what happened to Lizzo? All right, she lost the last weight, and her last album went nickel. All right, found out people don't like the flute that much. Ain't nobody like the flute, so you better not lose too much weight. You kind of had thick going for you. Thick audience is a good audience. All right, you ain't enough skinny girls out there. You better not lose any more weight.
Judge, last point. I just thought about this.
Okay.
I'm calling bull dookie. In the United States of America, we have a thing called speedy trial. If you want to go to trial, you have the right to file a piece of paper that says, send me to trial right now. You will be in trial faster than you can say, lickety split. So why are you complaining? You want to go to trial, file your notice and speedy trial and move on. I don't know about that. Everyone has a right to go to trial. Your lawyer took continuances. A misdemeanor is 90 days. A federal is 100. A federal felony is 175. We're going on 4 years. So you in a rush? Who's taking continuances? The government or your lawyer? Probably you. So file notice of speedy trial. You'll be in trial quick enough.
Well, this semester I taught entertainment marketing, so we used to break down, how you market entertainers. And you always have to have a story, right? You always have to have something to amplify or to reintroduce the celebrity back to the public to bring them top of mind. I don't understand. Maybe that's what she's doing here. That's what it feels like, because they probably went to her. She's already caught up in the court system around this DUI stuff. She's got other stuff that's kind of probably slowed down. This is the only thing she had to ante up that she had still going on that we could reintroduce to kind of give buzz that could then also, help her launch this Sports Illustrated cover. So sad, but we see you, Tiffany Haddish. Best of luck in everything that you have going on. All right, A-listers, this is the time. This is the deliberation. We're coming to the jury room for you to decide today's guilty or not guilty. That's right. It's time for the verdict. We want to know who's guilty and who's not guilty in the celebrity court of public opinion. All right, I want all four verdicts right now, starting off with the Beyoncé theft plea. Guilty or not guilty? Is this young man guilty or not guilty? Is he guilty or not guilty? And does the plea tell you everything? Is he guilty or not guilty? Did he know what he was stealing, or was he just stealing? Is he guilty or not guilty for trying to steal purposefully Beyonce's music? Is he purposely guilty of purposely stealing Beyonce's music? Is he guilty or not guilty of purposely trying to steal Beyonce's music? All right, I Be the Shit says guilty for being a dummy. Guilty of that. Generally says guilty. All right, sorry, sir, you've been found guilty. Guilty in the celebrity court of public opinion for trying to steal Beyonce's music. All right, next up, at Damon and Affleck, are they guilty or not guilty of telling those officers life stories without their permission? Guilty or not guilty? Is Damon and Affleck guilty or not guilty? Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, are they guilty or not guilty for stealing those cop stories? Drop down in the chat. Are they guilty or not guilty? JP Mills says not guilty. Christine R says not guilty. Generally says not guilty. NC says not guilty. All right, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, you've been found not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty is the verdict here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Next up, Linda Vanderpump. Is she guilty or not guilty of breaking that handyman's ankle and not paying him allegedly? Drop down in the chat. Is Lisa Vanderpump guilty or not guilty for breaking that handyman's ankle and not paying him? Essie Stone says guilty. Lisa's guilty. Christine R says Lisa is guilty.
Brutal.
Jim says not guilty. He knew what the hell he was doing. I beat the shit says not guilty. Next up, Vanderpump is guilty. All right, everybody. That's decided. Lisa Vanderpump, you have been found guilty. Guilty here in the Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Next up, Tiffany Haddish. Y'all think long and hard about this. Tiffany Haddish, is she guilty or not guilty of dragging this case along? Is she guilty or not guilty for dragging this case along? Is Tiffany Haddish guilty or not guilty for dragging this case along? Nisha Phillips says that Tiffany Haddish is guilty. I've had enough of her antics. Generally, Tiffany, Christine R says Tiffany's not guilty. SL Warrior says guilty. Editor says not guilty. Kim Hayes, she's the deciding factor, says that Tiffany Haddish is guilty. Tiffany Haddish, you've been found guilty. Guilty in the court. The Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. All right, you've gotten it right here. Guilties and not guilties have been issued by our A-listers and by the jury. Let's go to our lawyers, counselors. Let's go to you, Attorney Carter, first. Which case tonight did you think was the messiest legally, Attorney Carter?
I think that's gonna have to be the Vanderpump case. It's just a question of it's so many factual things there. Did they know? All right, should he have like Attorney Ross said? Was it open? Should he have known right where he was walking? Is his ankle really broke to $190,000? Because I broke my ankle before. I didn't get $190,000. All right, I broke my ankle playing basketball. I got a ride to the student center. So I don't know how you get $190,000 for a broken ankle. But there's all these questions. This is going to be a mess. And unfortunately for us, we ain't got nothing better to do. So we'll cover it again.
All right, let's go to you really quickly, Attorney Turner. Which case tonight is the messiest morally?
I would go with the Vanderpump case again, and here's why. One thing that I thought about is that they may not have settled with him is because they think he's lying. And so it's possible that he came to work, he did his job, he left, told nobody about this purported injury, and then all of a sudden they got served with a demand saying that he broke his ankle. So the one thing that they might be digging in and defending on is based on principle. And so if he's lying, then that would be the messiest from that perspective.
All right, let's go to you, Attorney Ross. Which story is going to have the internet arguing all week? Who do you think should have never been brought to court?
Who should have been left out?
Yeah, which case do you think the internet
I'm gonna go
case never came to court?
The Beyoncé case, the TMZ case. Beyonce's a billionaire. What you worried about someone breaking in your car, stealing your little booty little soundtrack?
Right.
You didn't say that. He been beat down by life, and you're gonna be mad he stole something he couldn't even open up anyways. Leave that man with a problem alone and just zoom off with your billionaire husband, Jay-Z. You should have fired your intern for leaving your private stuff in the back of a rental car.
I know, right? There you go. That's right? What I say. All right, everybody.
I had nothing. Hey, listen, and the internet, I had nothing to do with that. All right, I ain't got no B suit around here. Don't you come on with me. Brian Ross said that he live in Miami. You go find Brian.
Everybody, tonight's lesson is simple. Plea deals don't always mean innocence; they mean strategy. Inspired by true events doesn't mean protected from lawsuits. Obviously, expensive homes also don't prevent expensive claims. And an unresolved case can still control your life, especially if you have nothing else going on, because the law doesn't just deal with guilt. Guess what else it deals with? It deals with consequences. I'm your judge, Al Reynolds. We're so glad and happy to have Attorney Ross with us tonight. And this has been Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on our notifications. And going forward, please don't go follow Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. I would like to get 200 before before Memorial Day. Then drop the next case you want to see on the docket, because trust me, there's always more mess. Everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. Court is now adjourned.